Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. We have two hearings you do not want to miss. The second one features a completely clueless sovereign citizen who walks in full of confidence, repeats the same tired legal buzzwords, and gets shut down immediately by a judge who has seen every trick before. But first, we have a follow-up on a familiar clown. Stephen Cooper is the guy who treated court like a game. He kept showing up on Zoom even after being ordered to appear in person. He pushed the judge so far that a bench warrant was issued for failure to appear. He stayed on the run for months until reality finally caught up with him. Now he has been sitting in jail ever since. Today, we are watching 3 short court appearances where he tries to beg a Florida judge to forget his past and cut him a break. This judge is not buying a single word. So hit that hype button and...
Oh, Mr. Cooper, while we're waiting. All right, this is State of Florida versus Stephen Allen Cooper, case number 19 CF 866. Mr. Cooper's before the court today. He represents himself. Mr. Cooper, do you still wish to represent yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, there's been a bunch of motions filed today, but print out the motion that I've denied, most of the pro se, the ones that were filed as of the 12th. Madam Clerk. Dismissed, the motion to dismiss defendant's motion to reinstate bond and vacate related bond forfeiture, and notice of speedy trial.
Development resubmitted.
Yeah, and I'm gonna deny them again. All right, where we at? I dismissed the pro se notice of speedy trial demand. But okay, we'll set it for the November. Anything else, Mr. Cooper?
Yes, you dismissed them because of a certificate of service, and they were refiled with a proper certificate of service.
They were just refiled today. I have not had a chance to look at them. So I won't deny them today. I'll just reserve on that. Okay? I have not, they were not in the court file when I looked this morning. They were filed today. So I'm not prepared to order them. I will not dismiss them today, but I will have a chance to look at them, okay?
So I have a right to reinstate bond?
No, I'm not reinstating it right now. And I'm not gonna reinstate your bond. You failed to appear. Judge Costello, my understanding that Judge Costello was covering for me, that you appeared by Zoom, and you did not come to trial as you were ordered to, so you're not getting back out of jail.
It was not willingly, though.
You're not getting out of jail, Mr. Cooper.
But I have a right to bond.
Denied. All right, well, denied.
I do have a motion that I'd like to submit to you.
You can submit it.
Disqualification of judge.
Okay, submit it.
Who should I hand it
To the clerk. We'll set that for the 19th, and we'll have a chance to look at the other ones, okay?
Judge Clark is not the kind of judge you can play games with. He has already seen how this story ends. He is not about to reward someone who keeps dodging court, missing appearances, and treating the legal system like a joke. He is not letting this guy out of jail, just so he can do it all over again. This judge is standing firm. We have 2 more very short appearances in this case. I will let them play, and then we will break them down.
State of Florida versus Stephen Allen Cooper, case number 19 CF 866. Mr. Cooper is present in the courtroom. He's representing himself. Mr. Cooper, do you wish to continue to represent yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
And we're set for trial November 3rd. All right. Did you get the order to deny motion disqualification of judge?
I have not received that.
All right, I'll have that printed out for you. There's some other motions that you filed. Looks like we got them yesterday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this on the trial docket for that November date. I'm going to set this for October 24 for a trial management and motion day.
I got the bond reinstatement that was previously filed. And
yeah, I'm going to deny that motion for bond. You're based on your failure to appear. I'd already, and for the record, I have had you arrested at least once on a failure to appear, released you again on, allowed you to go back to, I believe, Ocala. On the morning of trial, after you filed a demand for speedy, you failed to appear, and Judge Costello revoked your bond at that time, had a capias, and then we had to, I think the capias was outstanding for a while. So my motion is denied.
I'm prepared to make arguments in regard to that.
Well, I'm not prepared to listen to them. I'm ruling on your motion, okay?
What
I can rule on a motion without hearing argument, and that's what I'm doing today. Anything else?
Any of the other motions?
I'm gonna hear everything on the 24th, because you just filed a bunch yesterday on the 16th, and we got them in the court file. So I'll hear everything the 24th. That will conclude today's hearing. Mr. Cooper, we'll see you then. Mr. Cooper, you're here today on your trial management. I believe you're set for trial November 3rd at 8:30. You're representing yourself. Do you wish to have an attorney appointed to represent you, or talk any more about that?
No.
Okay. All right. Where are we at?
I believe it's the motions, and I have my motion to reinstate bond. And
That'll be denied.
all the motions filed on the 14th that you postponed 30 days until this date, and none of them have been responded to.
Father Traverse, responding to his multiple motions to dismiss, the motion for discharge, and the pushing across the information.
All right.
Actually, a motion to disqualify the judge was filed as well. I believe you got that.
I think I've ruled on that, hadn't I?
I believe you got another one.
All right, I'll get you an order of that next week. We'll leave it on the docket for November 3rd. See you then.
Are you going to give me the Traverse? I haven't received anything.
Yeah, if you don't have it, the state has this already been filed, so if you want to give it to him, or state, or the clerk's office can give it to him.
He used up plenty of printer ink filing paperwork. He did have a trial on November 3rd, but it was not streamed on YouTube, so I cannot show you that part. But let's be honest, if he was found guilty, and he probably was, that explains exactly why he is still in jail right now, serving time for the mess he created. Now we move over to Judge Meyer's courtroom, where we see a whole different kind of sovereign citizen nonsense. An American state national steps up like he is about to drop a legal bombshell, only to run straight into a judge who already knows their script and is not entertaining.
So the first matter, Amos Canzoni, come on up and have a seat if you would. Go ahead and have a seat, sure. There's no contract. You and I have no contract. We resolve it in this way. It's a civil infraction, which means the city has the obligation of going first. Go ahead and have a seat and speak into the, if you're more comfortable standing. No, this isn't the time for questions. This isn't the time for questions. What we do here, this is not, we do it in a certain order. The first thing we do is, as you were cited for 2 infractions, is as I read what the officer said until there's nothing before me, until we have the officer's statement. Once we have the officer's statement, then you can present whatever argument you want. That's the time you make your argument.
So what is it called today?
Pardon?
What are you planning on doing today?
Well, you're defending yourself against the issuance of 2 infractions.
No, I'm not the defendant.
Well,
would you agree with me?
you're whatever you want to call yourself, a defendant, a respondent. You're the person who was issued the citations.
That's the problem. That's not the defendant.
I've read the argument. You're not raising it at the right time. Raise the argument after I've read the officer's statement into the record.
I have actually contested that statement on the return service that you received in the file.
Okay.
Statement is not accurate.
If it's not accurate, now is not the time. We don't have the statement yet. I need to read the statement. On January 2nd, 2025, at approximately 1600 hours, while on patrol within the city limits of Yelm in a marked patrol vehicle, when I observed a silver Buick traveling east on Mossman Avenue with Washington registration ACA 8168. The registration showed expired as of 11/24. I conducted a traffic stop using my emergency lights. The driver was identified as Amos Canzoni by his Washington State driver's license. Amos first gave me a random card stating he was an American citizen and did not need a driver's license. Amos attempted to argue his sovereign citizenship and that he did not need a driver's license. Amos was unable to provide me with current proof of insurance and stated he did not have any at this time. Amos was given the opportunity to contact the valid driver who was unable to do so. I advised Amos that his vehicle would be impounded Amos was given a criminal citation for driving while license suspended in the 3rd degree, a traffic citation for no insurance, and a copy of the TOFR. Amos was given a courtesy to his residence. The vehicle was impounded from the scene by Wharton Towing. That's what the officer said. Now I'll listen to you.
Here is what actually happened. This guy was driving a vehicle, not traveling, not using some imaginary loophole. He was operating a car without a license or insurance. When things went bad, he could not even contact the so-called corporate fiction that supposedly owned the car. As a result, the vehicle was towed, just like it should have been. If there is one lesson from cases like this, it is to stay far away from sovereign citizens, American state nationals, and Moorish American nonsense. They do not just ruin their own lives. They drag everyone around them into the chaos and do not care who gets hurt. Now let's hear what this guy thinks he is about to
Speak
argue
into
in court.
the microphone.
I gave the officer very first one when he approached me, I gave him this, my American state national credential card. And this has all the information he needed to look up to find out that I'm not a US citizen and therefore not in his jurisdiction. And therefore there's no issue about traffic violations because there was no crime involved. And then he refused to look up the information by his own choice. So then he required my driver's license, which I told him I can give it to him, but that does not apply because it's my license, not the DOL's, because my name is a copyrighted name, and therefore it's in my possession. But anyway, he then went on to saying about sovereign citizen. That's an oxymoron, and I tend to say only morons use that term because a sovereign can never be a citizen. Citizen has an obligation to whatever government or state he's subscribing to, whereas a sovereign, I'm a foreign sovereign. I mean, I'm foreign to your jurisdiction. I'm here talking to you now as a lawful person. I can talk to you because we're both persons in this environment, but I'm not subject to legal rules and everything. That's up to you. That's you are subject to. I'm not. I tried to tell that to the police officer because for his own protection, I told him, look, I'm not really who you think I am. I'm a driver, not driving a commercial vehicle with interstate commerce. It's the only reason I would have a driver's license. So that's why I gave him the credential card first so he could correct his mistake. He refused to do so, and they ran me through the mill, and you know what the mill was doing afterwards. So that's all criminal now because I'm a foreign sovereign, and I posted it on my door. I posted it in my file that I have the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act, meaning help that holds me, a man, a lawful person, immune towards the legalese, the legal subscription, which a dual citizen has obligation as.
He is completely wrong. The Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act has nothing to do with a personal traffic stop. What really blew my mind is that he admitted in open court that he was driving, not traveling. That alone destroyed his own argument. The FSI is a federal law that deals with when a U.S. citizen can sue a foreign government or its agencies. It only applies in very specific situations, like when a foreign country is involved in commercial activity inside the United States. It is about international diplomacy, not a personal immunity card for people who do not want to follow traffic laws. You cannot declare yourself a foreign nation and expect traffic laws to disappear. Calling yourself a sovereign, a natural person, or an American state national does not turn a Toyota into a diplomatic vehicle or a public road into international waters.
I tell you that too in my paperwork as a meeting. And so you don't have a claim. You have to actually prove jurisdiction over me, one here. The defendant is not me, but defendant, the name, all caps name, is under my private copyright and trademark. So you basically created, not you with you, I mean the federal government created that name. And I'm asking you, do you agree that the name represents a usufruct derivative. It's something you can use to access my assets and create credit therefrom. And then without my consent or knowledge, you can then create monetary incentives for yourself and for the court and everything. But the credit and the asset still belongs to me. So the conundrum I have with you now is, you are the ones who would have to pay the fine on that violation because it doesn't concern me. It concerns a usufruct derivative, which I still don't have any control over, even though it's in my copyright and trademark. That's the whole conundrum I have with the court and with the federal government itself. You trespass on me, you basically transform me into a defendant, all caps defendant, which I am not, and I have proven that I'm not. And yet you still try to link me to that case with that defendant. And I would claim that the government is responsible to offset all these fines or whatever you want to create under that name and hold me harmless because I have nothing to do with it. So that's in a nutshell the situation. But I would also say you have to prove jurisdiction first before you have a case. And you haven't done that so far. Nobody has rebutted my documents I filed into the court case. That means in your own rules, it's admitted truth because it has not been rebutted. It's fact and truth. And then you would technically have to honor these facts and truth. But by continuing with the charade, you do not. And you do not recognize that you're basically now in criminal contempt of the law because you have to spell it out. As of January 1st, 2025, poof, this court has disappeared. The municipal government has been liquefied with a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which has been finalized January 1st. And now, basically, you don't even exist anymore. Or if you do exist, you would have to be on Washington, D.C. ground because you're not having any rights to be.
This kind of argument is what separates American state nationals from regular sovereign citizens. At the core, it is still the same clown show. They just upgraded the script and somehow made it even more unhinged. It is the same nonsense delivered with extra confidence and extra confusion.
Specifically, it's just a general thought that has been put on the people of this country. Now I have another document here. I would like to post it. I have it only filed in the document, but it shows the residents of this country. Residents in all caps, because we all know a resident is only a temporary living in this country or in the state. There is not a single American in the census of 330 million people. Now, my question to you is, why do you insist on treat us like sovereign citizens, which is an oxymoron, rather than recognize our status? Because in Thurston County, there's maybe 2,000 of us, if it comes to a high number. Everybody else can be treated as a dual U.S. citizens, which gives you all the rights you have, but not against me. That's your problem now, because I have documented everything in the file. So basically, I have made a counterclaim. I nullified your claims, including the fines, including whatever you want to bring up, including the statements of the police officer. They've all been voided out by me responding, return service response. And that also would also be appearance in court, by the way. So he never not appeared in court. I just give you the courtesy. Well, it's basically not a courtesy, it's under duress. I come here to make sure I inform you of the situation you're basically maneuvering yourself into by not recognizing who I am. So on, foreign zone, because I'm outside of your jurisdiction period. So that's why you don't really have a case. And it would be wise if you would allow the prosecutor to file a notice of dismissal or cancellation of the case, because it won't have any jurisdiction. And I have proven that.
Have not proven anything on the record. The only thing you made clear is that you were brainwashed and scammed by someone online who cared more about your money than your freedom. You walked into court repeating their script like it was real law. Now you are paying the price, while that guru sits safely behind a screen collecting money from the next victim. This judge is not going to let that go forever. Sooner or later, they will figure out exactly who fed you this nonsense. And when they do, that person is going to have a very bad day.
This is what's not in the document. And then also, in order for me to be protected, we also have a private indemnity bond. In case I would be involved in a crime or in some property damage, that indemnifies me. I don't need a bond like you guys do. I just need an indemnity bond. So that means if something happens that causes a lot of financial problems, that indemnity bond would be able to connect for the problem. So that's the document, and you can see there's two barcodes on there, or whatever they call it. You can access my documents like the police officer could have easily gone, scan those two barcodes and get into the file, and then all the files are in there accessible, the same ones I put into the court case now. So basically there was no reason for the officer to do anything else except, oh, excuse me, I made a mistake, have a good day. That would be his proper response to me as identifying me as a foreign sovereign. And he did not do that, and the court did not do that, and I don't go into details on now, but it has been a lot of hassle against me, who is not even involved in this one. That's the problem I have with you now, that you don't recognize that I'm,
No real court on earth recognizes your fake jurisdiction. Reality does not change because you said a few magic words on the record. The U.S. legal system is not required to play along with your fantasy. If you plan on living in America, you need to stop pretending to be your own government and start doing the one thing that actually matters. Follow the laws of the United States.
You're entitled to call yourself anything you want to. I believe under the law, you're entitled to use any name you want as long as you're not doing that to defraud anybody. Now, it's not of any interest to me whether you call yourself first name, first name, comma, uppercase, lowercase. It's the person that's sitting in front of me. It's my turn. But you're arguing that you're basically exempt from you're exempt from the rules that would apply to the citizens of this country. The problem is you may not call yourself a citizen of this country, but when you're using the roadway, you're subject to the rules of the roadway, no matter what you call yourself, a foreign citizen, a sovereign, it doesn't matter. Is this person using the roadway? When you do that, there are certain requirements that apply to the people using the roadway. And that if you were, then the officer says you're within the city of Yelm on a road, on Mossman Avenue, take judicial notice of that. That's a certified road. You are subject to those obligations. Now, I'm very familiar with all these arguments. I suggest you, my turn, sir. I suggest you read Steve Williams. It's in 143 Washington 2nd, which goes into this. We're talking alternative realities here. The reality I subscribe to, this is the state of Washington. This is a validly established court. I have jurisdictions over minor matters, infractions committed within the city by the people that are driving on the road, for example. Now, you don't believe that? State versus Williams goes into that in some detail. They call these arguments, I've looked through this as, at one point they refer to them as semi-literate gibberish, which is basically what it is. These are specious arguments that I don't have to, I'm not taking into effect. They are not recognized in any court in the United States. I know there's a wealth of information, hundreds, thousands of these articles on the internet. You can pull them off. For example, this one signed by Anna Marie Reisinger of Alaska, relating to the United States Corporation, the United States USA Corporation. It's all very interesting, but
the judge mentioned Anna Rising, also known as Anna Von Reitz. She is one of the loudest American state national gurus and acts like she knows the law better than lawyers, judges, and even the Supreme Court. She is one of the main voices behind this entire movement. Here is the funny part. Despite all her fake authority and fantasy paperwork, she is not immune to real law. The US government has gone after her assets for unpaid taxes, including filings that allow money to be taken directly from her bank accounts. The document on screen proves it. She can scream, "No jurisdiction," all she wants, but reality clearly disagrees.
Statement, and he identified you by a Washington driver's license. He did cite you for license suspended, but I'm not able to find that you didn't have a valid license, and so I'm going to dismiss that. However, I've not been furnished with proof that you had insurance, so I'm going to find that you committed that infraction.
Remember, I said to you, I have an indemnity bond. If anything happens to me in a traffic accident or something that causes damage to somebody else, I'm indemnified. And the word indemnified
Indemnified by who?
lawyers can tell you that it's nothing to do with you. It's to do with the people of this country.
No, the law in the state of Washington is that you have a valid certificate of insurance from a recognized issue of insurance. A piece of paper that says I'm indemnified doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, but you see, you don't get the point. Point is, you are working for a governmental subcontractor which is now liquefied. But the point is, you have contracted with the country, with the people of this country, and which is the Constitution of 1789 and 1790, which gives you an enumerated services and powers, and traffic control is not one of them. So you assume all these powers, and I think you these people here articles and text, these are the two topics that read this whole thing. Now, you can claim ignorance of the law, you can do that, but I gave you the information, and according to your own UCC, once knowledge is given, what is a license? If you are a corporation,
You are not a sovereign entity. You are not a legal genius. You are just someone who got played by an internet scammer and handed over your money like it was a membership fee. Now that same guru collected enough cash to end up on the government's radar for not paying taxes. You walked into court thinking you were untouchable. All you really did was expose how badly you were hustled. Now the judge is done with this nonsense and is ready to shut it down for good.
I agree that it's 1789. My turn, sir. My turn. 1789, I think that was when the Constitution was fully ratified and became the law of the land. And for ever since that time, countless scholars from the Supreme Court on down have spent their lives studying the Constitution, figuring out what it means, trying to interpret it, how it applies to specific events. One of the issues is back then, your way of getting around was horse and carriage. There wasn't any such thing as an automobile. Now, that went on for a long, long time. Only the last few years, comparatively, this alternate way of looking at the Constitution rose up. It's not taught in any law school that I'm aware of. It's kind of an internet sensation, and it is, to paraphrase Shakespeare a little bit, a lot of a big tale full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. This is what you're arguing to me means. In my frame of reference, it means nothing. It's not recognized in any of our courts. As they say, it's an alternative reality, and that's been done. People have gone to other countries and decided this is the reality we're going to have. I've made my ruling. I'm concluding the hearing.
I would like to respond to that. You're right on target when you say we're not in the same area of existence. You're a legal fiction. You're a judge. That's a legal fiction. It doesn't exist in the real world. The land and soil is where the people live and act upon. And by the way, the officer confirmed that I was driving on public roads. Who owns the public roads? The public, not the police department, not you as a judge. And so that has to be respected for those who have identified themselves as the public. Again, a US citizen is not the public. You're correct in that, they're two different realms. But the mistake you're making is you do not recognize my realm, the real realm. And you can do that, but then again, I'm not part of it, so you have no rights to rule against me at all. That's my point. You made the point yourself.
We could sit here and we could discuss this to no end. We're ships passing in the night. You don't agree with what I'm saying. I don't agree with what you're saying. What I am saying is what is currently the law is recognized by the Washington State Supreme Court and the Washington State Court of Appeals and the Washington State Superior Court. If you think I'm wrong in applying the law as it exists, you can appeal me.
Well, okay, but have you proven jurisdiction?
We're done.
Over me?
We're done.
No, you haven't proven jurisdiction over me. That you have to prove, and we have many Supreme Court rulings that say that. Unless proven on the record that you have jurisdiction over me in personam and what is the other one, material one, you have no case because you have to prove that first. And that is the clue for you to actually do it or dismiss the case. One of the two.
I am satisfied the jurisdiction has been proven. The individual that's sitting in front of me was pulled over on a Washington street and issued a citation. So that's enough. That's enough.